Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. First vlog of 2023 here at I Will Wander. Red Betty looking stunning in the background. That girl needs a bit of love, but that's okay. Pretty good start to things so far. Got a lot of work done on my creative. The painting on the go. I'm going to be getting back at that later on tonight, I think. Soon anyway. And like a lot of people, I spent some time cleaning my apartment or immediate circumstances, including that gorgeous little car fading into the distance. This is Bear Lake Road, just outside of Kelowna. Been here a few times. Many videos ago, I introduced you guys to Handsome and Greta. The reason I sometimes stop when there's a vehicle coming is I've had some interesting exchanges with people while I'm vlogging in circumstances similar to this. I'm going up a hill, that's why I'm a little bit out of breath. And the guy will, or the person will say something like, "Are you famous YouTube star or something?" And I'll explain that, yeah, my image is part of the collective consciousness already. It just hasn't happened yet. And they can tend to carry on. No, I stopped because I don't want the background noise. So yeah, I will normally stop when there's a vehicle in my proximity because the noise is just a little bit annoying when I'm trying to do this. I don't usually go into the constructs of fame. Here's another one. Give me one sec. This road is an absolutely incredible spot. Handsome and Greta, the two rough-looking horses that I love dearly, are out to pasture in that field there. I have on several occasions brought them carrots and apples and something like this, which is always appreciated. Haven't seen them in a while. This road as well, basically right there where I'm pointing, is walking back to my car. I mentioned this in the previous video. And there's a bear, pretty big black bear, up on its hind haunches, looking that way, checking out where he's gonna go. And I had a visual on him above whatever crops there were in the area when he was sitting up to look over these crops, and then he went down. I was still about, 50 meters from my car, and I lost visual of him in the crops because he went from his hind haunches back to his fore. That was the big excitement there. Bear Lake Road, great spot to come for a walk at all hours. It's a really nice spot. The view, no real point to it now, but that way is the valley that Kelowna sits, and you've got Okanagan Lake in the mountains, and if it's getting dark out, the glistening lights of the city of Kelowna. Give me a sec. It being January 1, most people talk in terms of New Year's resolutions. I don't have any. I don't make them. I am going to get back into some of the healthier patterns that I had before I was attempting this employment circumstance. Hats available at iwillwander.com, by the way. I think I've mentioned this. The new ones just have the pretty little lily. They don't have all of this other stuff, but available by request if it really grabbed you and you couldn't live without it. I can certainly get one going for you. No resolutions, but often what I do is intermittent fast. So when I'm in what is a regular sleep cycle for myself, I only eat between 4 p.m. and midnight, and Sunday is the cheat day where I can do whatever I want. I have gained some weight quite a bit of weight actually, but with the simple method of fasting, it's not a big deal. You just don't eat except between these hours, and I don't tend to give too much energy to what I'm eating because I'm already being a good boy that way. So I'm gonna get back into that for the new year. And I kind of fell off the consistency as far as the screenwriting goes. I wasn't doing it as often as I had been previously. There are a few things contributing to that. A car coming there? No, the airport is just over there, so sometimes you'll hear there's a car coming in front of me out of the mist. Back in a sec. So the screenwriting is back on the agenda. God damn it. I'm into the one called Little Sister, about the Elvis impersonators. And I've been going at this thing for a long time. It's time I crank it out. I gotta get done. So I've decided that every day, at least one scene gets written in that script. It's a labor of love, so you're not forcing this. You absolutely want to do it and enjoy it. But cajoling myself into some output, I guess, is the best description of that. The scene I wrote today, there is a little person named Mamba in this script, based on a real guy. He's friends with Logan Paul. If any of you guys are watching, I've got a character for you in my next script. Mamba works at a morgue, whatever morgue would be closest to Las Vegas. It's set in Vegas, so he's working there. He's teaching himself coding at night. And he has a girlfriend who works in the sex business herself, but she really enjoys visiting him at his place of employment for intimate encounters. I guess if sex is your job, you'd have to come up with creative ways to keep it hot, right? We all can relate to that. So Mom is at work and he's in the back, what I call the cool room in the script, and he's mopping, and he's got earpods in, he's listening to music. He's listening to Started From the Bottom by Drake in the scene that I just wrote. There's a plane. I'm gonna wait a moment until this plane gets a little further away, and then I'll carry on describing the script scene while I walk back to Red Betty that way. A little bit surreal walking into and out of the mists like this here. The plane is still going by, but I couldn't be bothered with that. So Mamba is at work at the morgue, teaching himself coding at night. He wants to be a software guy, working this job to pay his way through this process. And he's back in the cool room where they keep the actual bodies and what utensils and whatnot. And he's got his earpods in. He's listening to Started From the Bottom by Drake. And he starts to mop the area of the morgue that he's responsible for. This is part of his work responsibility. This guy's going weirdly slow. Give me a sec, okay? So Mamba's at the morgue. He's in the back, what I call the cool room, where they keep the actual bodies and the utensils they use to look at them and whatnot. And he's got his earpods in, and he's listening to Started From the Bottom by Drake. And the N-word is used very, very frequently in that song. So Mamba has the earpods in, and he's doing a very uninteresting task, and he's listening to this really good song, and he's singing the song, and he's kind of dancing around as he does so. And while he's singing the song, he's singing it verbatim, exactly as the words come up in what he's listening to. Mamba's white, by the way, and he's singing alone back in this morgue in the middle of the night while he mops up amongst all these bodies and whatnot. And he's using the N-word frequently as he's singing and dancing around. The lead coroner at this location is a black male, and he forgot something at work in the morgue, in the cool room. So unbeknownst to Mamba, the lead coroner goes back to this location and for a few moments watches Mamba without his knowledge through these kind of windows that go through the doors into the room. And then Mamba turns around as he's really loudly singing N-word this, N-word that, Drake, whatever. And give me a sec. So in this very pregnant pause exchange between the lead coroner and Mamba, Mamba turns around right after yelling N-word something in the lyrics and sees the black male boss of his standing in the doorway and realizes that he's been watching him sing and dance and use the N-word loudly, repeatedly. So they sort of stare at each other for a while, and he's still got the ear pods in this scene that I just wrote, and you still get a little bit more of the lyrics in the N-word, 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 just subtly coming through. So Mamba slowly turns off takes out the ear pods, and they look at each other again in silence for a little while longer, and you get all of these possible issues going on between them. And Mamba immediately proceeds to start to apologize. And the coroner laughs and says, don't worry, but I know you don't have a racist cell in your body, so although I would strongly advise against using that term ever again under any circumstances. And he assures him that Mamba assures the black coroner he absolutely will not use the term. Coroner rushes across the room, opens the drawer in his desk, takes out his key fob that he forgot to his apartment unit garage, and starts to leave. And then the coroner jokes that Mamba's got some pretty good moves. Maybe he's got some black in him. And Mamba laughs nervously with the coroner's genuine laughter. Yeah, maybe, doctor, maybe. And out goes the doctor. So that was that's what goes through my head, by the way, guys, what I just described to you. While I'm going about my business, I have all these characters going through my mind. And yeah, it's a good script, good write. It's tight. I like it. It's tight. I like the background there too. The trees and the fog there. It's a cool look. So it's too cold for the bears. They're all asleep. Hopefully, right? And Hanson and Greta, I don't know what happened to those horses. I haven't seen them in a long time. These things kind of have an old west look to them. The gate slides along on them. Look like spurs or whatever you call this thing. Cowboys' feet when they've got to get going. More momentarily. As with previous scripts, some of the characters are from other stories that I've written, and they have little cameos, so all of the stories sort of intertwine on some level. It's fun trying to kind of encompass that into the process. This one is taking forever. This script, Lulu's Sister, it's called. I have 5 full notebooks full of notes, so there's tons and tons of material for it. It's done. It's done in my mind anyway. It's just, this one is incredibly complicated. And I briefly considered using Post-it notes and putting them up on the wall to keep track of different storylines and character dynamics and stuff, but that's no fun. I'm just going to do it all upstairs. Another plane. As soon as I start talking, another plane takes off. It's got to happen. So we're just going to go with a little bit of plane noise in the background. I'm getting tired of turning this thing off. Yeah, the script is... I'm engaged again, I guess, is the best way to describe it in this story. And the fascinating aspect of this one is often I'll have it sort of set out, and what is going to transpire is already very determined in my mind. And I'll often take notes regarding the story in chronological order to how I want it to unfold. In this one, everything was all over the place because there were these new characters and new circumstances that were cropping up. And there's another aspect of this, in that as I write it, it's turning into an entirely different thing as well. So it's like the thing is getting rewritten multiple times without any real ink to paper, as it were. So that's a little different aspect of the process. Anyway, really enjoying it. I've got another painting on the go. This one is a much larger canvas, and I'm making huge numbers of small squares with very, very multiple, or getting cold, with multicolored paint patterns in them. Another car, great. I've never seen anywhere near this amount of traffic back here before. Must be because it's the holiday Sunday. Everyone's going home from whatever they're doing. A couple lakes back there. That's what's going on. So the painting is a much larger canvas than I generally tend to use, and I've covered it with a myriad of small squares with very, very, very multicolored patterns to the squares. The paint color patterns are entirely random. I'm not, a lot of the times with painting, I'll kind of plan it out and it looks random, but it's not. I had the whole thing in my mind before I started. That's not the case with this one. I'm just letting it kind of go and unfold on its own. So that's the creative that I'm into so far this year. There is the small matter of employment that I have to get into, re-enter, I guess, ASAP, but it's not like much is going on today, right? It's New Year's Day, so I'm not really going to give that too much energy today. While much of the world sleeps it off, I'm not going to be too worried about that aspect of things. Can stay at the creative, get consistent again with my habits, my healthier habits that I let slide a little bit, and will of course carry on with the I Will Wander content. I'll keep this coming, both photographs, videos, shorts. Getting a lot of play on the Why That Tattoo shorts that I'm putting up. Usually a few thousand views. Am I hearing horses? No, I'm hearing a car. Give me a sec. So that's it for the plot line summary of the screenplay I was describing to you. There's Mamba, the little person in the morgue who works there and has the highly embarrassing N-word incident with his black boss. His stunningly beautiful black escort girlfriend is on the way to see him because she likes to enjoy some coitus with young Mamba in the morgue because another plane going by, of course. There are the two Elvis impersonators. They're really good friends. One of them combines mime with the Elvis bit that he does and calls himself a performance artist that way, which I guess it would be if you were on the strip in Vegas doing mime in full Elvis attire. You know, you're adding a performance art aspect to that as well. Shay is the little sister. Some dark scenarios going on surrounding Shay, and there's a DJ character who his on-air persona is a very tight white voice. Like, that is some groovy shit right there, and he talks in this very tight voice, suburban white guy voice, but he is Texan. His real accent is Texan. So when he's not on the air, he speaks with a very strong Texan accent. There's a little character info to you before this thing ever gets made. He also ended up a very successful DJ in the Nevada market, predominantly, this character. But he dreamed of being a magician. His thing is magic. He wants to be a magician. And I don't know that there's too much money in being a magician, really. So he went the slightly safer route, I guess, and ended up a highly successful DJ. He's in love with Shay, the main little sister character. Unrequited. She's fond of him. They're lovers, but she doesn't love the guy. And that's all good. Happens a lot. The serial killer working in the background in the story, I won't say too much about, because there's not much you can say without revealing something about who it is. The detective assigned to the case has a bit of a kink BDSM thing, where he's overindulgent in his bondage kink BDSM stuff. It's Vegas, so there's probably very little judgment of that. But yeah, the detective assigned to the case has some progressive sexuality on the go as well. Trying to think of what else is going on with the characters. There's a lot of sexuality to this one, more so than even I normally put into them, and there's usually some interesting aspects of the characters that way, as there tends to be in life, right? And yeah, some very bizarre, dark things happen. Also, with this plot line, there is some hallucinogens are explored with the majority of the cast and characters, rather. That creates some really interesting experiences for everyone involved. And yeah, it's about time I put this thing to bed. I mean, I'm going on about this script for so long and it just doesn't get done. So at least one scene a day, every day, is the goal at this point. And I'm going to really strictly stick to that and finally get this thing done. Got a great scene done today. Mamba in the morgue, and then his girlfriend's on the way, and the Elvis impersonators are going to party after their shift, keeping all the tourists entertained on stage. And I'll keep you posted on that. Don't know that I have too much left out here in the fog of rural Okanagan, British Columbia. I think that's about all I got. I hope your new year has started out well for you guys, and hope it turns out to be a really good one for you. I get the feeling it's going to be. So we'll see you soon.